Hello everyone. Welcome back to another VOD review. Today I'm joined with a special guest. His name is Patterknife. I butchered that, but don't worry about it. How you doing, Patter?
Hello, pretty good. I'm hyped to see the match you have for
Yeah.
us here.
So I will tell you real quick that this match has a lot to unpack. Like, both sides made a lot of misplays. We will only be analyzing my side for most of the match, so just letting the viewers know. But let's get right into pick and ban.
Sounds good.
So right here, Wobbles has a very like aggro-ish team with Vental and Venmet, along with like Hazrat, Lawali, and Golzy are also known for the more aggro style play. I was testing out this team with it was like triple fire with like triple melee and triple toxic. It was a whole bunch of type stacking going on. Um, but what I was thinking was, hey, what are my biggest threats? Obviously, I believe if we speed it up here a little bit, I end up banning Whip Pump. This opens up my Tolkien. This opens up my Hazrat. This opens up my Size Munch. This opens up my Gaialis even, especially since Tolkien is very good into his team. There being only really one big issue with Tolkien being Goal Z existing. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like your Whipland ban here at the start. It's really big for your whole team.
Yeah, I think.
Have that out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. Also, if we stop it right here, um, I should have not picked this Tyrannac. As you can see, there is one toxic, two toxic, and then Vehement and Vental both can. They can both hit the Tyrannac pretty hard, right? They don't need the
Yes.
aggressor and the spiritual buffs to actually hit it hard. And yeah, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I just wasn't thinking when I picked this Tyrannac. I think the size munch lead was good. What would you have led instead of the Tyrannac there?
So yeah, Tyrannac is a bit rough, especially with the two toxics up there. So if you lead Size Munch, you would probably see a Lolly instead.
Yeah. So I think a Tolkien would have been pretty good, right? Because first picking Tolkien would have probably led them to lead Golzy plus something like Shuin. And then I can
Yes.
counterpick that with like a Mushuk or a Size Munch even if I don't care about, which I would care about the water cannon, to be frank, but it would still give me more options, right? Picking that Tyrannac definitely limited my options to the counter pick since I am blue side. So that's something for the viewers to keep in mind at home. When you're in pick and ban, you want your first pick. If you're on blue side, you want to be able to open up as many options as possible for that second pick that you have, as you do have the advantage in the lead position since you can counter pick the two Tems that orange side picks. Are there any tips that you want to add to that, Patter?
Yeah, especially like as you said, Tolkien is like very good for that because heater proc turn one is like you have like almost no very bad matchups just because of the damage reduction. And then you
Yeah.
also get the counter pick on top. So you can have like a very good either setup turn, for example, for Size Munch if you have like Tolkien Size Munch in there. Or you can just like have a different tem that's very important, very healthy after turn one.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay, we're gonna continue on this pick and ban journey. I don't remember what I banned next. Oh, it's a Vental. So let's analyze this. I don't think this is a bad ban per se.
It's after the patch, right? So it's beta burst Vental, I believe.
Yes, it is beta burst Vental. So it does open up my Mushuk a lot. It opens up my Size Munch a lot. Well, Size Munch a little bit. I still have to worry about Lawali and Shuin. And as we'll see in this later in this match, this is aerobic Vola. And then also like the Mushuk I said earlier, the Mushuk gets opened up, which is very good outside the aerobic Vola. Yeah, so that wasn't too bad.
So yeah, I like the Vental ban.
Yeah. I believe I go with a bad pick here again. Hazrat isn't a bad pick, but if I remember correctly, I think I don't pick Tolkien this game for some reason or something like that. Something crazy. Maybe I do pick the Tolkien, but it's either I think I messed up in pink ban. I remember I either messed up with picking Tolkien and picking Calibus, or picking Calibus and Mushuk.
You kind of want all three, to be honest. Like, you want the water synergy for Lava Wave, you want Tolkien just because it's Tolkien, and you also would like Mush Up because it's very good versus Shuin.
Yeah,
And
that's very true.
can kind of trade versus Loali if Loali comes. So yeah, you leave Mushok out. I believe this should be a Loali. But overall, your side looks okay. The lead is a bit hard. Like, if you can turn that a bit around,
Yeah.
you might have a good situation. But like, the turn one will be very, very hard for you here. Just because Tyrannek is super pressured.
Yeah, I think the lead, like that the main problem with this lead, obviously, as we said, Tyrannek is super pressured, like you said. And it's just, like, Tolkien doesn't even get that much value here, like, from the heater itself. I believe I can't remember if I uppercut here for damage, or if I heat up. I believe I was like, oh, yeah. So let's pause that right there, okay?
Yes.
I don't think that was a very, very good play by me. As if we go back to pick ban, I think that size 1 cheat up was very good, right? Because we have it then threatens Vola even more with uppercuts. It threatens Hazrat. It threatens Venmit a lot because Venmit will have that -1 defense. It threatens shoot. It threatens everything, right?
Yes.
And then they picked Golzy also, which, as a side note,
also
I don't think.
Like a wreck.
Yeah. Oh, it hates a wreck, right? I think on a side note, I think Wobble should always pick Loali there, right? Although
I would probably pick it, even if red with Calabus is a bit annoying because Lava Wave will go first, and also Tolkien will just win the matchup versus Loali.
Actually, I think Golzy's a good pick. The reason is because without Golzy, they don't have like Golzy opens up the aerobic Vola a lot, right? If it was anaerobic Vola, I think Loali would have been the choice always, but because it's aerobic, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it's okay.
But as we can see, I uppercut there. Oh wait, went a little too far. My bad. Oh no, we saw that already. Yeah, it's also slingshot aerobic, meaning that it is +2 speed right now, which is very scary for me as I don't really have any swap-ins for this Vola because Tolkien's already on the field. Everything in the back line except for Tyrannek does not like an HKS. We see the Hazrat swap out here into Shuin. Very good read by them. I would like to analyze that play actually a little bit. So, my thought process should have been here. All right, because I end up going for, if we watch a little more, they go for Toxic Plume as I go for Wreck, right? I go for NATO Wreck, which this is actually brings up a very good skill that I haven't talked about in these VOD reviews yet or in my guides, is covering options, right? If they stayed in with Hazrat, that Wreck would have killed them either way. So, if we go back a bit, let's say we had, let me bring up my marker. We have our size 1 cheer, right? We have our Tolkien. If Tolkien put a NATO onto the Voloran and then Size Munch wrecked the Hazrat plus Vola, right? Then you wouldn't. I wouldn't have to worry about the Hazrat. I shouldn't have ever NATO'd it because it's putting all my eggs in one basket of the Hazrat staying in. It's kind of redundant, you can say. What do you think about that?
The red dies kind of already, so you don't have to kill it twice, basically.
Yeah. Not only that.
Also, but Valorant has minus special defense, I believe.
It has -2 special defense, yep.
Yeah, so the NATO will hurt.
Honestly...
It will get punished for staying in and clicking a move.
Honestly, I think NATO would have killed plus size 1 track even though I was at +1 only. Like, let's see how much this wreck does. Yeah, it brings it down to 51%. I'm like 450 special attack on Tolkien. That's 135 base power, right? I don't think that Vola would have lived.
It would have been very close if it lived, but
the biggest thing is, sorry for the interruption there, but I want to get this out before I forget. The biggest thing is that later in the game, we see this Vola put in so much work as it gets the HKS off there. We could have seen it we could have seen this Vola dead here, right? If I didn't do what I did. Also,
Yes.
again, right there. Right there. I should have always uppercutted the Vola slot again. Actually, no. Uppercutting Shuin is fine, but it does give them a free swap into a Hazrat that they have in the back, right? That's a +3 Hazrat. I don't want it on the board. I would much rather have a Shuin on the board in front of a Tyrannak than a +3 Hazrat in front of a Tyrannak, right? So that's
Yeah.
also something I think I could have done differently.
Yeah. It feels like your biggest threat is kind of the Valorant right now. So killing like Shuin gives the opponent just tempo to bring in a tem that they really want on the board, which,
Yeah.
for example, could be the Hazrat.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point actually. Seismon chaining the Volorend, even if it doesn't kill the Volorend, right, is a very good use of my resources because it, as you said, it's my biggest threat. Once that Volorend goes down, it opens up my toxics in the back, and it makes it much easier for me to actually do something within the game.
Yes, exactly.
So we see the Calbus come in here. This is kind of like a Hail Mary of, hey, I hope I can do enough damage to this Vola here now. Because I don't believe I wreck. I might wreck, actually. Okay, I do wreck. Again, not the best idea. I can't, honestly, I want to come up with an excuse to see for all these misplays, but it's a learning experience, right? You have your bad games, and you know what they say, you have a bad game, make content out of it. So here we are. And then as you saw,
and also learn from it.
yeah, and
That's
also
the
learn from
important
it.
thing.
Yes, that is the important thing. Because I know for sure that target or threat analysis has always been a shortcoming of mine. And this is a very good game to show it, right? And I brought in Tolkien after the Seismich OX to death, and I believe right here, I was like, hey, you know what? They're gonna swap out this Hazrat. I need to try to get some tempo. I swap in Tolkien for my own. Oh no, they're gonna swap out the Vola I predicted. As they do not end up swapping out Vola. So I was kind of kicking myself. I tried to gain that tempo there, predicting them to swap out Vola in fear of the Tolkien NATOing them, but they just rest, which is a very good play by them. It gives them the best board they could have asked for. Golzi ends up swapping out the next turn. Yeah. Vemet coming in, there's nothing to say about that. Vemet is a very strong hitter even after the nerfs. And this I think is another misplay. Looking at this board, right? I'm guaranteed to kill on Vola if I just double up, right?
Yes.
HKS
You might lose a temp for it.
Yeah, I might lose a temp for it, but again, right? That opens up the temp that is left, essentially, correct?
Exactly.
Hazrat can't do crap on this, or Golzi can't do crap on this board. It can hit the Calibus, it's not going to do much. It's going to use this adrenaline shot and not be happy, right? Humiliating Slap kills Volorang because that -1, and then Lava Wave easily kills the Vola, right? It's at -1. I'm at neutral, but again, it's a Lava Wave.
Yeah. Like the only switching for the double would have been his Hazrat, I believe.
Yes.
But
yeah. Oh, we got the drawings there.
But yeah, I mean, if the gamble works here and the HKS goes onto the Tyrannak, I think it's okay.
But I think I strangled. Did I strangle? No, I Shuing's Horde. See, again, I don't think I've hit this Vola one time this whole game except for turn 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the wreck, kind of. The two wrecks hit
the two wrecks and the uppercut, right? But other than that, I think there were so many times where, like, looking back at this game, there were so many times where I could have won this game, or at least been in a decent position. And I just didn't. I kind of, like, passed it up, right? So I guess, you know what we can do? I think the best thing for the viewers to take away from this is how important threat targeting is, and let's we'll finish this game up, and then afterwards we're gonna go back to pick and ban, and like say some strategies, I should say, for how to find your threats. What is most threatening to your team? What temps should you be taking out on the enemy's team, like ASAP, right?
Yes, that's a great idea. Like also that's why a lot of players usually take a lot of their time from Pig Ban and turn 1/turn 2 to figure
Yes.
that out. Like which temps they need to trade against which on the other side.
Yep.
So they know what needs to stay healthy, what can they just like use to deal damage onto threats,
Yep.
and what they
Even
need to save.
yeah, exactly. Even what they need to save health on, right? Just because a Tem is alive doesn't mean it's going to get full value. If you have an Ukama against a heavy fire team, do you want to keep that Ukama at as much HP as you can? You don't want to keep it in on things like Hedgens and stuff that can be killed with a Valkyrain that you have, right? Stuff like
Yes.
that is very useful. So I do end up losing this game. Hasty Lunge does close it out. So let's go back to Pick and Bam. Okay, we have the teams here. They pick Golzy as last.
Yes.
So if I'm myself going back, what do you think I'm thinking? I think I'm thinking, hey, I only have I have nothing that hits this full for super effective damage. It's aerobic because I knew from games prior. I have one special attacker. I need to make sure to gun down this Vola ASAP. I look at its Hazrat. I'm like, okay, this Hazrat's threatening. It's threatening to my Tyrannek, but that's all it's threatening to. Therefore, this Hazrat's not much of a threat. What do you think about the last couple times? I'll let you get those ones.
So, like, if you look at your side, basically, your Seismond has a lot of workload to do. Like, it's the easiest temp to kill Hazrat. It's the easiest temp to kill Golzy. That gets picked last.
Yep.
And it also hits like a truck into Venmet because of the minus defense. And Shuin is usually very fragile anyway, and it does like uppercuts too.
Yep.
So your Seismond is basically the ace of your whole team right now, I would say.
I agree with that.
And yeah, like you don't want to have a Tyrannek versus Hazret board because Hazret's only job is to kill Tyrannek.
Yep.
On Wobbles side. So your Tyrannek basically is like on its like least favorite board at the turn 1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And yeah, you really want to trade Tolkien into Valorant basically. That's the matchup you want to achieve. You want to have like Tolkien versus Valorant, especially because it's aerobic. So if it like uses a wind move turn 1 and you kind of bring it in, then it will hurt the Valorant very hard.
Yeah, no, I that's actually a really good point. Knowing which temps to trade into your threats is a big skill. I'll definitely be covering that in future videos when it comes to the higher level stuff. Right now, I'm covering the basics with my guides. But yeah, and then like Patter said, Chewy and Golzy are handled by the Size Bunch and mainly get handled by the Size Bunch. I can use my Tyrannek and my Toxics to deal with them, but I need to be keeping the Size Bunch healthy, which is another reason why I should have heated up that turn 1, right?
Yes, because then the Rek like kills also almost the Shuin. Like a little bit of chip plus Rek would kill Shuin instantly, would kill Venmet, kills Hazret, and kills probably also Golzy.
Yep.
So yeah, I think a heat up turn 1 is kind of safe because Hazret is not hurting.
Yep.
And Valorant is also not hurting too much turn 1, even if it uses Feather Gatling.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Even though Size Bunch has a lot of work to do, the HP on it, as long as it's like above half HP, is not that detrimental. Like losing HP isn't huge, right? At least the amount of payoff I get for the HP loss is huge.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think we covered everything. I'll probably be splitting this video up into 2 chapters. You guys will be able to see it down below. The first chapter is our first watch through, and then the second chapter is going to be us essentially analyzing the skill that we wanted to cover in this chapter or in this VOD review. But yeah, that is all from me. Pat, do you have anything you want to say?
No, thanks for having me, Rishi.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Again, for those watching, if you have any advice on how I can make these more smoother, because this is kind of like off the cuff stuff. Unlike my guides, this is no script. We kind of are just watching this through. I plan on getting bullet points through my watch throughs for the future. just to make them a little smoother. But if you guys have any advice, please let me know down in the comments. Also, while you're down there, make sure to like and sub. We're growing. We just hit 100 subs, which I really appreciate everyone who's been supporting me. And this is Mr. Rishi. I hope everyone has a good day or an amazing day, amazing weekend, amazing life. And I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.